As usual, the first question in any topic is what does it mean, the term political system? And in general, we can speak about the process for making official government decision and all parts on all elements who taken part in this process. It is usually compared to the legal system, economic system, cultural system, and other social systems. That means that political system include and have a connection with all the spheres of life, because we speak about that in the meaning of social environment. It's we can speak about the political system far from the other spheres of social life. And when we speak about the social science, we can highlight that it is always interdisciplinary tools to explain and to understand some political process. And what do you think about the term system? Why we use it, and what does it mean in general? Not political system when we speak about a person as a system of values, or the machine as a system. What does it mean for general using? Masha, please.
I think that it's like a set of something of some connected things or devices that operate together, and like it can be a central heating system. So, and also it can be like the degree and manner in which users utilize some capabilities of the information system. And also, I think that like, why do we use? Because it's like a group of some components which use in every science, I think, or it can be a group of subsystems that integrate and maybe function together, you can say, in order to achieve a specific aim, a specific goal. So it works together to achieve something. And it can be like, for example, a disk subsystem, like it's a component or a part of some computer system. So they work together to get better results.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? No addition? Okay, so let's speak about the system in general. As Masha mentioned, and as you know, every system has many elements connected with each other. It's very important for political system to understand that we can improve only one part of political system. We can change only in one field laws or rules. It will influence for all the system. For example, if we try to change the constitution in the type of political system, as in Ukraine, from presidential to presidential parliamentary to parliamentary presidential republic, we should take into account the changes in political parties systems, in election and voting systems, and it can be only in as a whole solved some political problems. Also, the very important thing is interaction between different elements, which mean that separately, as usual, we can make a decision or solve some problem. it's usually discussed and demand the relations between different groups to make a consequent decision which take into account interest of different groups. For example, in Parliament, before the law promoting, before the voting for some bill, we should we have a possibility to investigate, to analyze the proposals for these laws, and it takes a long of time to make a base which will be relevant to all the social groups which are mentioned in this law. I don't know, maybe it will be some workers or some older people, yours, and so on. Different groups can influence for the content and the main questions of this bill, which soon will be a law. Also, we can speak, and Maria also mentioned that each element has its own function, and the political system can be effective only if each element makes their function effectively, if it is no domination of function for one or another branch, for one or another political institute. It is logical that for example, president can solve all the problem by him or herself, and he can control all the relations in the country. So this institute has a group who with whom he connects directly, and the others will connect with the representatives of president, not personally him or her. And this example gives us understanding that all the institutes should, all the leaders should delegate their functions and give them feedback from their representatives. And we can speak that interdependence of all elements makes the last one sign that system can survive without any element. Very bright expression and example is the human body. When we lost some part of our body, we usually feel ourselves very bad, and if it's not the main organs, main parts of the body, we can use to live without this element, and other organs will take a part of the functions which previously was in a disappeared part, but at the same time it will some new system with other function and other system of relation in it. And when we speak about the political system, it will have its own peculiarities. some of them we already discussed for the previous time when we speak about the peculiarities of politics at all. And in some case, I should repeat that political system has a supremacy over the other social spheres. That means that it controls and creates some rules for other spheres of life. But as you see in a second peculiarity, it doesn't mean that the political system is a primary and the other is not so important. It's not the truth. The sense of political system created by the other social spheres, and it always depends on the nature of social environment. The politics makes in social with social groups, and without the connection of their interests, their sphere of life, we can imagine the political system. It's not a vacuum, it's not a separate sphere. It includes the society as a general at all. And we can speak about the political system as a relative independent sphere of life, because it is a sphere which have a connection with political power and decision making. That's why we can divide and separate political system from the others. I want to say that you can find in different textbooks a very different structure of political system. For make it easy, I give you not only 4 parts, but you can find in other books much more than 4 parts of political system. And the most easy structure include political institutions, political norms, political regime, and political consciences. Maybe somebody can give an example of political institutions. What political institutions do you know? Nobody know any political institutions? I'll help you.
As I understand, it's like institution of president or parliament. Or something different.
Once again, I
Institution
don't
of president or institution of parliament.
Thank you very much. You are right. A state as a general, yes. And Masha and Valeria would like
if we can speak about general institutions, it can be like government, religion, and the economy. But if about political institution, it can be some parties, trade unions, courts, like legal courts, I can say. Yeah.
Thank you. And Valerie?
And I can add ministries and other ministry-related institutions also.
Thank you. You're right. You have correct examples. A state is general. All the state institutions like parliament, political parties, different international institutes and organs like NATO, European Parliament, European Union governments, local governments, different civil organizations, even political leaders can be understood like political institutions. In general, political institution understand like the system of rules which correct and which control the behavior of people in political actions. And political norms, I think you understand that it is a laws, some instruction, some decisions, some directions which regulate the behavior. Political regime, the term which mean how to express and how to understood how we can realize the principles of constitution in the for the in real practice. And about political regime, we can speak about them like a form of government or a set of rules, cultural or social norms. For understand what is political regime in every country, we look not only on constitution and laws, but we also analyze the possibility to take a part in elections like a candidate and like a voter to evaluate the free press and possibility of having free minds, free ideas, for have meetings and other civil rights which have which take place only in democratic society. And also about the structure, about the elements of political system, I should mention about the model of political system created by the Easton. His model have an entrance and an exit, or as we see on the painting of this image, the inputs and outputs. And outside the political system, in this entrance, we have the demands and support of different political decisions. After the decision making, and when we have some results, we have some decisions, some behavior of people which returned as a feedback to new demands and new support. When the people accept the main decisions, they will support the power, but when we have some questions to the institutions, to political power, we give it new demands. And about the types of political system. Sorry, I forget about the political conscientious, or in more general, it also called political culture. The 20th century, the end of 20th century, was full of investigation about the role of political culture. And the main thinkers, main political scientists make a conclusion that we should analyze not only official parts of political system, but also the civilization context and the peculiarities of political culture. As an example, Ukraine have take as a pattern for its constitution, the Constitution of France, French Republic. And we take almost all the position, function from the French Constitution. But as you know, we can't live the same as French people, because we have very different attitudes, beliefs, and this gives us the new sense of all institutes. It changed the process of decision making and for providing the policy. That's why nowadays very important part of political science is the investigation of the influence of political culture into government behavior and political system as a whole. And about the function of political system or its role in a society, we should sign that the main function is to maintain the integration of society by determining norms. We are sure that the norms is more or less stable and that it is the same for all people. And that makes the people support the power and the current regime of in different countries. Also, political system help to adapt and change elements of social, economic, and religious systems necessary for achieving collective political goals. About this function, we can say that modern world is very dynamic and we have many changes, and the political system should adapt to all the changes by changing one of the elements or changing one rule or few rules, laws, not collapse all the political system. And this possibility to change, to evaluate and to have a dynamic makes the political system more stable. And mostly scientists think that democratic political system is the most adaptive in comparing of authoritarian countries, because its policy created by the different conflicts and different discussions, which at the end will give the possibility to make policy based on the people's support. And political system usually gives a possibility to change only one sphere of only one piece of its element for make the all political systems survive. And also political system protect the integrity of the political system from outside streets. That means that if something will happen in the political environment, the political system will react with some decision. And of course, the political system in its development have a crisis, and some political system go to their end. As we see in history, many great civilization have a collapse, and it's they lost their power in the world, and that means that political system dynamic have some cycles when it's created, it developed, and then it have a death, something like that. So it came to an end. We can speak about very different criteria of dividing governments and political system to different types. And I want to discuss today and to present for you only the main classical types. Maybe some of them you already heard at school or at other disciplines, and I'm sure you have such term. So we only repeat and try to recognize the difference between them. And you can see that first types of government is monarchy and republic. Can somebody explain what is the main difference between monarchy and republic? Vladislav, please, I'm listening.
Monarchy is when like state or country controlled by one person, or it can be constitutional monarchy where there is one person and some how to say parliament. And republic, it's a form of government where people of this country decide who will, which government and who will control this country.
But not exactly. I have such question for Vladislav. How we can explain the Soviet Union, for example? It was monarchy or republic?
By documents, it was like republic. By actually, I don't know how to call it.
It was not only official. It was republic. And sometimes and very often I can say that students catch in this situation because associate democracy with a republic. It's not a direct dependence between this term. Maybe other person will correct. Vladislav, Masha.
Do you ask about Soviet Union, or like I can add about this?
About the difference between monarchy and republic.
Yes, so as far as I know, like it's like the main difference lies in the system of ruling. For example, like a monarchy has a king or a queen, as we know, who passes down their all like aims as the next rule of the states. Like in the same time, republic, it's a republic country, it's a country's people have a right to choose their government by voting. But in the same time, there is like an example of a country which is both like monarchy and republic. It's United Kingdom, and like it is have, as far as I know, two like type of government.
And Valerie, what would you?
So
Like-
Masha already said, but yeah, I'll conclude everything, I guess. So in monarchy, power is inherited, and in republic, the president is nominated. So it's not, power isn't inherited.
Yes, thank you, Valerie. The main peculiarity, the main difference is that in monarchy, their power is inherited, and in republic, we vote for some representative ahead of the state. And it's not exactly correct to speak about the Great Britain, like about the both monarchy and republic, because it is a monarchy. Their head of their state is a queen or king who have its power in a heritage. So we also always look only about the head of the state. And you was right that the monarch in Great Britain and many other European countries has only symbolic power. And the main power gives to a parliament, to prime minister, who are elected by people or in of other organs and other institutes. But remember that the monarchy can be an authoritarian country like Saudi Arabia, or it can be democratic like Swiss, Great Britain, and many others. And at the same time, republic can be authoritarian, like our neighbors, so-called Belarus and Russia, or it can be democratic, like most republic countries. And as you say, a monarchy is a form of government in which total sovereignty is instead in one person, a head of state, call it a monarch, who holds the position until death or abdication. Abdication, it's when the monarch refuses to rule, and he gives the power to the other heritage prince or princess, and monarchs usually both hold and achieve their position through the rights of hereditary succession. Very rarely, some monarchs can be elected from the prince, or princess, by the council or some institutes which control the monarchy power. And as we already mentioned, the monarchy divided into two groups, into types. It's an absolute monarchy and constitutional. About the absolute monarchy, we can also find out different types. For example, the dual monarchy, which have the same head of the state, political leader, and a head of religion group. something like was in Iran, Iraq, some Muslims countries, when the same person, a spirit leader and the political leader. And constitutional monarchies also have different terms, and all of them means that the power of queen or king limited by some representative institute like parliament, and the monarchy understood like a symbol of nation, like mediator in solving some conflicts, and he or she is a guarantee of political independence, nation development, so on. And I want to ask you, how do you think why many European countries retain a monarchical form? Why there is no revolutions or decisions for make it republic? Please, Valerie.
I can for sure say for Great Britain that there the monarch is the person that attracts tourists. So it's a form of a form of making money for the government by attracting tourists to the country.
Interesting version. Thank you. Any other ideas? Matvey, please.
I also suppose just like almostly their monarchs have no power, just like shake a hand and say hello, and but it is like traditions and some tradition of politeness or something like that. Keeping traditions, I would say. Yes.
Thank you. The main reason I think that it is a something like payment for traditions, and they proud of their very long term of ruled, that they present the heredity of a nation, not only a power. That's why it's no reason to remove them, because like Matvey says, it's no function for them, no power. But sometimes the monarch can be can use its power for help, for inspire people in some actions, like it was during the Second World War, or in some different crises, when monarch can be a source of beliefs, of maybe only even some charisma. And people believe that everything will be all right because the queen or king is still here with his nation, something like that. About republic, we can speak that it is a type of government where power is held by the people or the representatives that they elect. Republic have president who are elected, but this term president can be changed in different countries and use it other term. Of course, the elections not always mean the democratic position, because it can be an alternative elections when we have only one candidate in election bill in no list, only one person who we can support or not support. And for many years, it can be the same person, like Lukashenko is the leader of all elections during the more than 30 years. So we remember that Republic also divided into presidential and parliamentary, and the main difference is based on the head of executive power. In presidential countries, a head of executive power, president themselves, and in parliamentary system, the prime minister is a head of executive branch. And sometimes students and people think that the main institute in parliamentary republic is parliament, because it is logic and it's called the same. But in a real policy, the main role in parliamentary systems have prime minister who are elected by the parliament, and he looks like a representative of parliament, but personally he can solve many problems and make a decision during the period of his or her function, his legislation. Also the peculiarities of presidential republic is that different branches can't influence each other, or they have less check and balances that in parliamentary system. The classical example is United States of America, where we have the exact term of presidential official, and even if president will dead or he abdicate his power, they have vice president who have this office and continue the function of president until the new election will goes in this country. And parliamentary system, it has the derives its legitimacy from different sources. For example, the decisions of president should be signed by prime minister, and the prime minister responsible, and he make its responsibility on the parliamentary majority. Sometimes in some constitution there is a norm which when the winner of elections and its leader should be a leader of a parliament and the prime minister. It is automatically appointed for this position ahead of the main of dominated political party, but not always. Sometimes it is the possibility to elect the representative of a minority or even opposition. And also we have a mixed kind of republic as in Ukraine. It also call it semi-presidential or dual republic, when the government use both signs from presidential and parliamentary system. And what is the reason to call republic presidential parliamentary or parliamentary presidential? The answer is who is the main in appointing prime minister on its office. If the main person of decision making is president, if he gives the possibility for prime minister to rule, it's called presidential parliamentary republic. And if we speak about the supreme power of parliament for appointing the prime minister on its office, it will be parliamentary presidential republic. And all kinds of republic have each own advantages and its own disadvantages. I hope we'll discuss it on seminars. Now I only should mention that the mixed republic, semi-presidential republic, always have a threat of conflict between president and prime minister. Because in presidential republic, it's no prime minister, so no conflict. In parliamentary republic, the president have a symbolic role like a monarch in constitutional monarchy. But in semi-presidential republic, they both try to have more influence and more power in political system. And sometimes the main role in political system depends on the personality of president and prime minister, who will be more active, more, I don't know how it's called, more bright person and leader. Those person will be in a rule, will be a leader of country at all. And also it can depend on the majority in parliament. If majority support president, the president will have a supreme power. If parliament support prime minister, so it will be prime minister, the main person in the country. We'll continue, as I said, on our seminars. Also, we divide the political systems on authoritarian and democratic. And the criteria is a political regime. Totalitarianism nowadays described like a historical type, and many many scientists speak about totalitarianism only in a context of Nazis Germany or Soviet Union. The totalitarianism have the base total. It means the total control of state under the all individuals, freedoms, all the civil society organizations, and it's in totalitarian countries, it's no permission for any other ideas, any point of views, except the official. We have many examples in our past in Soviet Union. I think you can see many films about the Soviet Union. What is the difference between totalitarianism and authoritarian countries? Maybe somebody want to answer this question. What is the difference between totalitarian and authoritarian countries? I will answer that authoritarian countries permit a freedom in all spheres except the political. Authoritarian countries can have free economic trade, only different civil organizations. Status quo have only political organizations which control and not let any kind of opposition. They characterized the government by the rejection of political plurality. Some ideas from the official can be present, but they can influence on politics. It will be only civil discussions when they speak about the disadvantages of power, but they can remove it or change something in political system. And you can see that authoritarian regimes is the most popular, most worldwide in modern life, in spite the idea, such stereotypes that the democracy growing. There are a lot of authoritarian countries for today, and they are not going to disappear. And I won't give you a video about democracy for this time. I think we'll continue the next time about democracy. But also I want to mention the classification, the types which are based on political culture. The author of these types, Almond, one of the founder of the system analysis in politics, he speaks about the 4 types of political system. First is the Anglo-American political system. The classical examples of this political system: Great Britain, United States of America, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and so on. This political system main peculiarity is a homogeneity of culture, homogeneous. The political goal and means achieving and shared by all. Like American people and American political parties, they have different point of view only for tactic, not a strategy of policy. They are not rather different from each other. And that means that mostly the population of United States have the same values and the same position of political culture. Also, we can speak about the majority parliaments, which based on only one political party, and the other one will be on opposition, and they usually change each other from time to time. It's called bipolar political system. Also, the examples is United States, Great Britain, when we know only few political parties which compete with each other. The Anglo-American political system has the possibility to have high level of stability, and it means that I speak for the previous time that they have a tight division of power. The president don't influence parliament, and the parliament can influence the president only in very unexceptional condition. They can remove each other or have some recommendation which will be a rule. In other period, they have only discussed some problem, give a recommendation, like we speak on seminars about the treatment for Ukrainian question, that in Congress appeared many groups, many leaders who try to prove that American people shouldn't help Ukraine, or in opposite should help them. But they can't give some direction to the president to make or not make some things. And other political type of political system is continental European political system. The classical examples is Germany, Italy, France. These countries have mixed political culture, coexistence of new and old political cultures, which mean that they remember about their monarchies, and there are different position in political spectrum. There are right and left political parties, from conservative and national political parties to populist or socialist political parties, and it makes a multipartism. That means that there are a lot of political parties. They usually rules not for dominated political party, but for coalition of different political parties. And also they rule not only on parliamentary majority, but also parliament consists of different coalition of political parties. It makes the system less stable as the previous, and I think you know that in Italy, for example, in France, it is often changes in the different ministers. They change prime minister each year, or maybe a bit longer, and they have such traditional for save their position of multi-party system, and to promote their possibility of discussion and different interests. The next one is political system, which, which have their fragmented political culture. Their examples is the New African and Latin America, Asian countries who was a part of big dominated countries like France, Great Britain. After their independence, they tried to create their own stable states, but they not strong enough for make them homogeneous political culture. They have weak or underdeveloped party system, because there are some tribes and very little group, very fragmented group. Like in India, there are even many kind of language. They speak with different dialects and use different dialects. And it makes the political instability because the leadership is rather not stable, but situation leadership of different political parties, groups. They can provide the policy for the long term, because it have high level of concurrence in interests. And the last one, which are mentioned by Almond, is totalitarian political system. It has homogeneity, but it's not created objective. It is forced homogeneity of political culture when all the political parties except ruled is forbidden. No ideas can be permitted, and that's why the people look like each other, and they seem to be the same. But as we know, in Soviet Union experience gives us the case, the experience that some crisis can destroy all this homogeneity, and that's all ideas, all problems will appear in a very short term of time. And other peculiarities of this type of political system is one-party rule, and it have no division of power. We already should finish our meeting. Thank you very much for your attention. I'll mark all the present persons and those who take a part in our conversation in analysis. See you soon. Have a nice day and happy Women's Day.
Thank you. Same to you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay, bye.